Hello? Hello? Yes, you know not that mic. Not that mic, honey. I had the wrong microphone for a second, but hi guys. So, this video, if you even see it, because I don't honestly know what I'm gonna do with this, but I was already kind of sitting here talking to myself about this anyway, because, I like to do that. If you don't talk to yourself, you're the weird one, frankly. So I figured I would just go ahead and record it because it'll help me maybe get my thoughts out. And then maybe I can make this like an intro video into this thing I want to do for The Sims. Not that I have to, but I want to, I guess. Maybe just to explain some things so that if people come across this, they're not like thrown off by things that I'm doing or think, I don't know. There's a thing that I would like to do and try to start. I'm not sure how quickly I'm going to put parts up of it yet. I might record a lot of it before I even put any up. And that's why I'm saying, like, if you even see this video, because I won't even put this video up, obviously, if I'm not planning on uploading anything related to what I'm talking about. But if I do, I just kind of want this, just because I don't want to spend the first 10 or 15 minutes of the first video making like an intro that's going to be too long and people aren't going to want to watch anyway. So I'll just do it here. That way, at the beginning of the first one, I'll be like, okay, if you want all the details about what I'm planning to do and what this is about, go watch that, so I don't take up all your time now. So, I'll probably do that because it's easier. And then if people don't care, they don't have to watch it. If people do care, they can watch it, and it's all good. So, I have this thing that I want to do in The Sims. That is not an original idea by any means. I think it's a thing that a lot of sim players do, and a lot of sim players on YouTube also do. It's just a thing that people do. But it's a new concept to me, so I kind of just wanted to talk about it, I guess, or like get my thoughts out on it first. I don't know. I'm going to be playing with this while I'm talking, so if you hear the clicks and things, that's what's going on. But it'll help me try to focus. So what I want to do is I want to start a legacy, like family legacy playthrough type thing. And I know I'm already doing a legacy challenge with the Not So Berry challenge, but that's different. This isn't going to be like a 10-gen legacy challenge that I'm doing by any means. I'd be surprised if I get to 10 generations. It would take a long time for that to happen with this. But what I want to do is create a legacy in The Sims. Create a legacy family that I hope that I come to really like care about and want to play and follow through their lives and their kids and their kids' kids and like on and on. But I want to do it in a way that's different than how I usually play The Sims. And I think it's also the reason that I'm on like save file 50 at this point in my Sims 4, because I know I've mentioned it before in previous videos, but I get bored very quickly in The Sims 4. I make save files all the time. I start new ones all the time. And I play The Sims for a while. I maybe even get to the point where they have kids and their kids are grown for the most part. And then I realize, God, I really don't care about any of this anymore. I don't care about these Sims. I don't care about what they're doing. I don't really care what they do. I don't want to be here anymore. And then I create a different save file and start playing them. And then I realize this other save file I've still got on my screen I haven't played in like 6 months, and I'm like, why is this still here? I'm never going to play it again, and I delete it. And I've done that since getting The Sims 4. And I think the reason that I do that is because I never have wanted to play more than one household at a time in The Sims 4. Because I think I have a problem in a lot of what I play in The Sims 4, where I get very upset when I can't control, like, everything they do. It's like, if they don't listen to me when I try to tell them to do something, I get just extremely upset, like, way more than I should. And so if I go to a different household in the, same file as, like, where I'm playing a main house or something, and I play that house for a few days, and then I realize my other house, they've messed something up that I wasn't gonna do, or they did something I didn't want them to do. They, had a baby without me wanting them to do that, or somebody aged up, and then I get really mad about that. And that's, because when it being on like a normal or sometimes short lifespan, you can't really go to a different house for a few days, because a few days in The Sims time is a long time on like normal lifespan. Like, babies will age up, toddlers will age up while you're gone, kids might even age up when you're gone. And then you're like, no, I didn't want that to happen yet. What are you doing? Or people will like get a new job, or they'll break everything in the house while you're gone, and you come back and everything's leaking and there's dirty crap everywhere, and like, you're just like, and it annoys me, like I said, much more than it should. But I don't always want to play on long lifespan either, because then I also get bored, because it's like, oh my god, these toddlers are toddlers forever, these babies are here forever. And then I end up just aging them up early anyway, because I'm losing my mind that nothing is happening. You see why I have a problem here. But The Sims 4 is the only Sims game where I do that, or I have done that. Because I've played The Sims since I was like in grade school, when it was just The Sims 1. And I don't remember it in The Sims 1 as much, but I'm pretty sure it was set up the same as Sims 2 and 3, as far as the neighborhoods being like, you didn't have like save files to pick from that I recall. It was like in The Sims 3 and The Sims 2, you would just go into the neighborhood that you picked, and that there your Sims were there. Like, you played like 3 or 4 households in the same neighborhood, and you would just play different ones on different days, right? And that was fun. That was how it worked, because it was like an open world. You could just go back and forth, and it wasn't a problem. Sims 4 is not really set up that way, at least not as much. Like, you can play multiple households, you just have to be fine with, the other household doing things without you, unless you turn that autonomy off or aging off or whatever, which would also lead to problems, but, yeah. I think the reason I get so bored and quit caring about The Sims in this game are because I just don't know what to do with them, I guess. I want them to feel more like they're independent, more like they're making their own choices, like they have wants and they have things they are going to do. But a big thing in The Sims 4, it seems, which is probably a huge plus for a lot of people, is that a lot of that is supposed to be on the player. Like, you're supposed to make your own stories. You're supposed to live a story through these Sims. You control them for that reason. You're the one who puts the backstory on the Sims. And like I said, that's not a bad thing. It's just not something that I've done before, really. And the reason I kind of have started to realize that is because I've been doing the Not So Berry Challenge. And I'm in Generation 5. Gen 6 is being a child at this point, at least with what I've recorded. With whatever's out at this point, I don't know. Because I'm recording this at the beginning of January. But, I care about all those Sims. I care about my heirs, I care about my heirs' siblings, I care about their cousins, I care about their families, I care about what happens to them. And it was genuinely surprising for me to realize that. And I think a lot of the reason for that is because the way the Not So Berry Challenge is set up is that they have a story. And they have a story that they're trying to tell, but it's not locked into something so detailed and so constricting that it's like, oh, they have to do this and this and this and this and then have to be this way. It's like it gives you a good, like, general summary of a story, but it leaves it up to you to fill in the details about how that story maybe happens, or, you know, what it means to them for that to happen, or why it happens for them, things like that, which I never really worried about before, because I was never one of those people that just played Sims to tell stories, and I think that was my problem, because I feel like, at least unless it was just because I was so much younger and I didn't play The Sims as much as I do now, I didn't realize that being an issue. And I don't know if that's because The Sims 4 is just really different, and maybe The Sims aren't as alive on their own as they were in, like, Sims 3 and 2. I honestly don't remember, because it's been a long time since I've played either one of those at this point. And it didn't feel as necessary to me to try to make them have, like, a personality and a life as it feels now for The Sims 4, for me to want to keep playing in the same save file. And there's nothing wrong with save files going over and over and over and stuff, like, whatever, you know, but I would like to have a big legacy family where it's like I play a sim or some Sims and I take them through a story and I give them personalities and I give them reasons for doing things and wants and, you know, things like that. And then they have kids and then I follow their kids and keep going on, telling stories through them. And like I said, that's not something I've really done before, except in the Not So Berry Challenge. And so what I want to do is, I've already kind of been setting it up on my own time, is I have a new save file I've started where I have set the lifespan to long. I have placed restaurants all over the neighborhoods. I've placed other things to do in town around the neighborhood, more than what comes with the base game for whatever reason. And I have placed a lot of Sims that I've made throughout the neighborhoods as well. Because I make a lot of Sims that I have never once used in a game. Because I make Sims all the time. I'm a maker. I use cats all the time. That's my thing that I love in The Sims 4. So, when thinking about wanting to do this, I thought, well, I've made my Sim self several times. And more recently, I have made one that I thought was pretty accurate to looking like me. I thought, well, there's a Sim I could use, right? It's my Sim self. I would care about my Sim self. I could maybe try to set it up, me trying to live my life through my Sim, you know, and all that. But the problem with that is I would have to drastically change the story for that Sim from my actual story. At least as far as where my life would go from where it is now, because I want to play a legacy challenge. Or not a challenge. I want to play a legacy. I want to play a family that goes on for generations. And I have absolutely zero desire, interest, or intention of ever having kids. It's just not the life for me. It's not something I want. The thought of it, frankly, is terrifying and repulsive to me. I love that people do it. Obviously, we need it. But I'm not the kind of person that should be in charge of a human being. and I don't want to be. I have no interest, like I said. Nothing about it appeals to me at all. And I think if it ever were to happen to me, it would be a very tragic and horrible thing for me and that human being to go through. And I would never do that to them. I would not do that to another person. So, it wouldn't really be helpful to use my sim self. Because then I would also, if I changed the stories that drastically, I'd have to watch my sim self do something that the thought of kind of would kill me. So, that was out at that point. But like I said, I've got a ton of sims that I have made in my free time that I have not used in anything that I could pick from. So that's what I did. I went through my unused sims. I found one that I really liked, that I kind of made her a little more, like I fiddled with her appearance a little more. And I have placed her in the neighborhood. And I intend to start the whole legacy with her. The thing that I'm trying to do now is come up with the story. Because it would be easier for me to start with like a version of me, because then it's obvious that I would already kind of know aspirations I had or know who that person is because it's me. But once I have that all kind of figured out, I will start filming stuff with it. And I'm going to, like I said, film a lot of it before I put any of it up, because I want to make sure I kind of know what I'm doing. So I am going to control a certain amount of what happens without me feeling like I have to micromanage everything too. Like, I still want it to kind of have the random happenings of The Sims. That is also part of the fun of The Sims. Things happen sometimes where you're just like, well, that was not what I intended or planned, but, you know, I have to just roll with it now. That's happened to me in the Not So Very challenge a few times now. And, you know, it can be frustrating because you might be like, no, that's the exact opposite thing I needed to happen, but you gotta just figure out how to deal with it, right? So I do want random things to still happen. I'm not gonna absolutely control like the number of kids they all have to have, or like if they're gonna be boys or girls, or like name picked out or anything. You know, I do want them to have stories and storylines and like things to happen that I want to happen. So I will have to control certain things for that. But, you know, it's not going to be every single thing they do every day, especially in the beginning, I'm sure, because I won't have a bunch of kids to start with. Like, I'm just starting with my one sim. So we're going to have to kind of just see where she goes and what happens, and then go from there. But yeah, I know some people, when they watch things like that, like, I've seen reactions of some people kind of being like, wow, yeah, this person's just acting so surprised that this thing happened, when clearly the only way it could have is if you controlled it happening, or you planted that person to meet this person. You know, you made the events happen to bring those sims to meet. Why are you acting so surprised? You're like so fake about it. This is dumb. And it's like, if you're trying to tell a specific story, yes, things have to kind of happen that you have to set up first, because The Sims doesn't just come up with wild and crazy stories on their own. That's not how this game works. So I just wanted to make it clear, I guess, in this, to be like, yes, that's what is going to be happening to a certain degree. Some things are going to be random and not controlled by me, but other things are going to be. And I might be just really open about it, about what things they are. Some I might not. And when I tell some kind of story, I haven't come up with it yet. But when I do, it's gonna start happening. And I will probably still act a little surprised, or act, you know, appropriately to whatever event it is. But I'm not going to outright lie if people are like, well, you just set that up. I'd be like, yeah, I mean, that's the point of this. But if I just sat there the whole time, if something shocking happens that I set up, and I'm just like, okay, and that was that, so alright. Like, who would watch that or think that's, you know, working? Like, you gotta have a little bit of a reaction too, because you're also kind of speaking for the sim that you're playing, you know? You're speaking for them, kind of being like, oh my gosh, what's that? You know, and then when random things do happen that surprise me, it's gonna be a genuine reaction. But, yeah, that was just one thing I'd want to make clear about all this. And I'm kind of surprised I haven't done this before, because I really do like to write. I have been writing a lot of things since I was an early teen. And they've been stories. Some of them are short, some of them are really long. And I'm just really kind of surprised that I never have done this before. Because I feel like I am also kind of a storyteller, and some part of me. And that is also kind of the function of The Sims as well for some people, is to just tell stories, make stories, and create them through The Sims. And, you know, that's what I'm gonna try to attempt to do, but not make it, like I said, it's not like I'm gonna have a script written that I have to follow exactly with my sim to have them do exactly what I've written down. Like, it's not gonna be like that. But I'm going to have like the Not So Berry challenge, where maybe I'll have some kind of general overview of what I want this person to do or be or achieve. And we'll start down that path. And whatever other things happen or other people come in along the way, that can be up to the Sims. You know, that can be up to random chance or things just happening. Because it's fun doing that, I have realized. Because I have tried to do random legacy challenges before, where it was like you rolled a random, you know, like color theme for them for their appearance. Or you rolled for a random career, random aspirations, random traits, random challenges to do for that gen about like, I don't even remember most of them, but they're like, you have to go to certain parties, or you have to have so many parties, or you have to catch all the frogs in the frog collection or something like that. I've tried doing those before, and I barely get through Gen 1 before I'm like, I hate this. Because it is kind of so meticulous about, it's like the number of people you have in the house, the number of kids you can have, the aspiration you have to have, the career you have to have, which I thought would help me, but it didn't. Because I would end up not liking what I rolled, and I would just keep trying to change it till I liked something, and then I'm like, well, this isn't random, then, is it? And it's kind of dumb. But for some people, that helps, and that's great. So, yeah, I'm going to try to do a big legacy family, with it being a more story-driven kind of thing. And when it gets to the point where my sim I started with has kids, and those kids grow up to adults and have to live their own lives, they're going to move out, and then I'm going to be splitting my time between playing the kids and playing my sim family that started. And then that sim's kids will have kids, and on and on and on. And it's going to keep going, where so it'll be like I'll have videos up where I'm on one place at one time, another place at another, and they go back and forth until maybe I get bored, or till I just want to stop doing it, whatever it's going to be. So I just kind of wanted people to understand what I was trying to do, even though I'm sure it's not going to be that difficult to grasp. But this is why I want to do that, and this is what I'm planning to do, at least vaguely right now. If I want to add more to this at some point, I will. This is just my initial thoughts and feelings behind it, because it's this world that I've kind of been building on for a while, and I had no idea why. I just kind of wanted to do it for a while. Like, I have done like CC makeovers on a lot of the NPC families that start in the save. Just because I wanted to, and I just started filling up a lot of them the empty households with the makeovers, and then I started planting other houses that I've made. The shell challenge video that I put up, the house I made for that is in this save file because I didn't know where else to put it, and it's just a lot of stuff that's here, and yeah, I just want to kind of start doing that, and I guess you'll see it when you see it. I don't know how long it's going to take for me to build it up or to come up with stories or, what's going to happen. But, when we get there, you'll know. Because that's when you'll see everything. I don't know how long ahead of time it's going to be or all that stuff. So I'm just kind of doing it as I feel the motivation right now. Because I know, at least with my Not So Very challenge, I have filmed very far ahead where I am at this moment, which is nice because a lot of times I have to record and do editing and uploading and everything on only like Saturday and Sundays. Occasionally at night after my full-time job during the week, I will also like try to upload something that I've already finished otherwise. But it gets hard because after work I'm tired, sometimes I just want to play a game or just watch videos or movies or something and just hang out. I don't want to, be pressured to do a lot of other work. And if this gives me an extreme amount of extra work, it might be slow in coming, but that's why I'm going to try to get a little bit ahead of it before I start putting it out. So, if this is where I'm going to stop it, then this video is just to kind of inform you my thoughts and feelings and ideas behind why I'm making this and what I'm making it. I'm not even sure what I'm going to call it yet, but if you watched to the end, thank you. And if you have any ideas for me or any suggestions or anything you feel like that might help me or be of use to me involving that, leave them in the comments below. I would appreciate any of them, and I'll listen to any of them. And, if there's something that I feel like taking into account when doing it, I'll definitely say it was from a comment on this video and, all that. So I will be checking that if you feel so inclined. If not, that's fine. But thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoy the series of videos that I hope I make, and I hope you watch my stuff, I guess. I don't know how to end this video, but yeah. Again, thank you, and have a good day. Bye.